Hello, this is Reacton, and today we're going to be taking a look at another Dreamweaver tutorial, this time focused on styling the different elements of our page, which we created in our previous video. So what we're going to do is manage our sites to SoundSpark, open up templates. Okay, and now if you can see, we have our container, which is the overlying thing that contains all of our divs. And we also have our header, content, footer, essentially top, middle, bottom. Now what we're going to do is, edit a few of these to give them the height, the width, and things like that, just to kind of make them stand out and give you a basic idea of how to do it. So if you want to add a style to something, all you need to do, you can just go in the design and say click or something like that, but I found the most direct way to do it is to actually go in the code and click on the ID. So for example, somewhere within these two arrow tags. Okay, so for the container, we'll click inside the ID container, and then make sure if you've got more than we've just got template, but sometimes you have template, header, footer, whatever. Make sure you always click on the actual style sheet that you want to add a style to. So we'll click on our template, and we'll click this button down here, new CSS rule. And then what you'll get is the selector type. And we've clicked in the ID, so it'll automatically go to an ID. Sometimes you can have a class, a tag, or a compound, but generally you always use IDs because you always give a div its own specific identity. And we've just lost the name, but that's okay. We know it's a container, so all we have to do is put hashtag container, and then that should be fine. Okay, and then once you go all here, you'll notice all these things aside. So categories, type. Type is basically the fonts, the font style, font size, text decoration. Basically, if you want to edit the font or anything to do with the font, that's the one you should go into. Background, self-explanatory. You can use this to change the background color, change the background image, background repeat, no repeat. This is actually a useful one if you ever got a background image and it's say like 200 pixels by 200 pixels, but you want it to cover the whole background. All you need to do is insert the image with browse, go here, repeat, and it'll cover the whole background of any size browser you're in. Never use the the background attachment, basically if you want it fixed or scrolling. So if you've got, say, a centered web page and on either side you've got, I don't know, some wings coming out, one side and the other, and you want them to stay on those sides as you scroll up or down rather than scrolling down and them disappearing up. What you do, fixed. Every time you scroll up or down, they'll be fixed to the exact side of that panel. Background position X or Y, those you do not need to worry about. They're just for exact positions if you really want that sort of thing. Block. These are more of the technical things to do with spacings and stuff like that. You see like vertical align, word spacing like kerning, leading, that's some college knowledge just slipping in there. Lecturer would be proud, but yep, that's just the sort of spacing with the different fonts and stuff like that. And the box, this is where you'll probably spend most of your time when you're editing. The width and the height, obviously the width and the height of the div. So I don't know, for the container, one I generally stick to is 960. And for the container, always leave the height blank unless you want an exact size box. Just leave it blank because, say for example, they have the header, content, and footer. They all have their own specific height. The container will shift to fit them all in rather than you having a certain height and then maybe it being too small, so it'll have a scroll bar and things like that. So always leave the height blank. And the float option, you don't need to worry about this for the container because we're obviously centering it. But basically the float would be if you want it to float to the left hand side of the page or the right hand, or none. And the clear is if I'll go over the clear in another video actually, but it's basically to, if you want, I'll go over that in another one. Anyway, the padding, this is for the spacing. Just think of it as the margins, the spacing outside of the div, the padding, the spacing inside of the div. So if I give this a spacing of 20, in the container and apply. You'll notice if I preview it, I need to put on the box. Also, obviously, you know, the ID's container, go over to your CSS styles panel, template, there's the container, double click, you're back in. But we'll add a border again, because that seemed like it was quite good. One black. And yeah, it should be fine. Yeah, as you can see, the padding, spacing inside the box. And then the margin spacing outside the box. See? Cool. And yep, we'll center it now. Get rid of these. Oh, and I'll quickly show you floating left and right. It's pretty obvious that it's just float right. Open that up. Float right, float left. Float right, float left. Okay, and then we'll just center this. If you're unsure about this one, just go back to the video. The other video is centered in the web page, but it's basically 0 auto, 0 auto. Right, and that should be our page centered. There we go. Okay, and now for the next one, header. So once again, clicking the ID, style, and this time the reason you've got that was it, compound. Compound is a div within a div. For example, you've got the container there, and then you've got header inside the container. And then for content, it'll be container content, footer will be container footer. And then say we put a header div inside the header called nav, it would be container header nav. You get the picture. So we go inside that. We'll give that a width of 960 as well, fit it in. And a height of 100. Okay. We'll give them more borders as well. That's probably better. Actually, it should be. Yeah, I'll give it a border. I'm just thinking that might alter the sizes because obviously it's exactly 960, and that'll add an extra one onto all the yeah. So you can see it's slightly thicker because it goes outside the box. But say if we did. 9, what would it be? 956 math, so 956. Then it should fit in perfectly. Should fit in perfectly. But I don't normally add a border if we've already got one round, so I'll actually just take it off, just for simplicity. So 960, and we've got the content. So ID, content, new CSS style, and container content. 960. Height 500, apply, ID footer, okay, 960, 200, apply, and let's see what this looks like now. Actually, it shouldn't really see anything, yeah, because we haven't got borders around them, but you can see it's been spaced out, obviously 200, 500, sorry, 100, 200, 100, 500, 200. Again, I think that'll do it for this one because that's almost 10 minutes and I don't want to drag these out too long. So that's it, basically styled. just the heights and the width and so on, and a wee tutorial on the different functions in this that you can style it with. And in the next video I'll go into a bit more depth with the topic. Cheers.